doing wonderful, Alex. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you. For those of you who don't know, Cory was my pastor for several years as I was,
Oh,
uh,
wait, I thought you were my pastor.
well, no, I don't think I ever have been. But for a buck 50, I'll be your pastor. Um, no, I was going through a deconstruction even before I knew that term in the first decade of the 2000s, and wasn't sure if
Mm,
I was an evangelical. I'm actually not sure I'm an evangelical now, but I wasn't sure about the Jesus thing, and
mm,
if I wasn't sure church was legit, and floundered for a while, and we decided to commute to a church which was not really huge in those days. It was busting at the seams in that building in Canyon City, um, the Barney Dome, and I found out that I could believe again, and that
mm,
I could entrust myself to someone's teaching again, and felt like I came back alive again. And that would have been
mm,
the 2008, 9, and 10, around that time. And so I'll forever be thankful to you for being
mm,
that guy, and that, and the Canyon Vineyard had a huge impact on my children, especially my younger kids, and uh,
mm.
just a great experience. And I got to work for you for several years, 8 years, 9 years. When did you guys leave Canyon City? Nobody knows, huh?
My heart is still there, but 2016. Yeah,
Was it 16?
Carter. Yeah, so one of our kids got bone cancer, and that spun us into kind of a process of seeking what does life have for us, and it was 2016 when we moved. Yeah,
And you moved to Chicago,
yeah,
and now you're in Grand Junction at the Canyon View Vineyard, and which is pretty cool. You're just on the other side of the mountains from us.
yeah. It's been great. Well, Alex, I just want to honor you guys. The Ackermans have your fingerprints are all over the church, and you're all over, the Sondrols, and you guys have been incredible. And I do see you as a pastor in my life that I can respect your handling of scripture and your wisdom on church history is extraordinary, I
Mm.
think. So for you to call me and want to talk about something, honestly, is kind of humbling. So yeah, love
Well,
you, man.
I love you too, and I appreciate your willingness to do this. So we're tackling a difficult subject today, and that's what is sexual freedom, or put another way, is sexual purity a gift,
Mm,
or is it a curse?
mm,
And is the biblical definition or biblical expression of God's desire for our sex lives culturally irrelevant, or is it actually
mm,
meaningful for all people for all time? And so we're going to ask and discuss some fairly intense things today. So
mm,
back in the day, back in the Canyon City vineyard days, I guess they're still there, just that we're not. Although I think my heart's there as well, like you said.
mm.
You would do a controversial conversation series once a year, and that was always my favorite time of year. And
Yeah,
tackle topics that for the most part, pastors and churches don't really want to tackle, and
yeah.
this might be the most difficult of those topics.
Well, two things happened. We we had people who were very interested, and we had church growth during those series, and we got people really upset, and they left. And because the topics, I mean,
Yeah,
it's challenging, and people don't know how to have conversation around difficult or uncomfortable topics without in an emotionally mature way, right?
yeah,
And so that's why I love what you're doing with these videos too, bro, is you are having emotionally mature conversations around very difficult topics in which you're welcoming everybody to listen and process, and you guys are not judgmental. And so yes, they are difficult topics, but I think handling it this way is really a good idea.
that's cool. Yeah, I remember I would teach on sex once a year at the Pueblo Vineyard where we started out pastoring, lead pastoring, and I would always upset people. And
Mm,
even later on, people would say, "Yeah, that once a year when you did that talk, it just was so uncomfortable." And so
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I'm hoping that that doing it together makes it a little more palatable for all of
yeah,
us, frankly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So let's just jump into it. Is the
Yeah.
Bible restrictive or freeing when it comes to sexuality?
I think the Bible, right, as we understand it, is one of the most freeing and probably the most freeing document or library of literature literature that exists on the planet. So if we start a foundation, right, with where are we getting this info about sex that we're going to be talking about? And we're talking about, we get a lot of it from the Bible and from the words of Jesus Christ. Then what are we really looking at with this document? And so we have a library of literature and called the Bible. And people ask all the time, especially around sexual immorality issues, they say, hey, Pastor Cory, Pastor Alex, whatever, do you take the Bible literally? And is it literally for today? And I would usually answer, if I'm a little bit in a snarky mood, I would say, well, I hope not. That would be rough. But do we read the Bible literarily? Meaning, do we look at each part of the literature and read it as it is and was intended to that audience, whether it be poetry, whether it be a historical narrative, whether it be an eyewitness account, whether it be Paul talking to a group of people about sex, like what is the literature and how do we understand it? I think that's what's really important. So if we do that, I believe there is no document, there's no book, there's no library, there's no anything that leads to more freedom in all areas of our life than the Bible. Financial, emotional, mental, physical, sexual, social. I think you could change the title to the Freedom Book. There, that's how strongly I feel about it.
That's pretty cool.